Morning, everybody. How you doing today? Um, got it? Okay. How are y'all doing today? I have I have a story I'm going to tell you right now, and it's a type of story that has never been told before. And why is that? It's one of those type that always get buried and forgotten about. Well, when I came across this story, I'm going to tell you what, all the hard work I put into it to get the story from this witness. The story I'm about to tell you. It took me a whole week to even gain the witness's trust within me of telling their story. Now, the story I'm about to tell you, the witness that I interviewed is not with us any longer. And the others that witnessed that day with this witness are not here any longer. So, like many stories like this have been buried and forgotten about, never told. As the kind of researcher I am, I can't let this happen. Okay? That's why I'm going to tell you the story of it. It needs to be told. I think you'll like it. Might blow your mind a little bit, but here we go. My hometown, which I'm from what they call Placer County. My hometown is it's a city now, and it's named Roseville, California. Now, all the years I've been doing my research, which at that time I'm doing all my research on the eastern part of the Sierra Mountains, okay? I know that whole area like the back of my hand. When I came across this witness and what they experienced, blew my mind. And I never heard of a story in this. I'll tell you why. Because this story takes place at the time was a little town called Roseville, California. That's my hometown. I was born and raised there, and when I was a young one growing up there, it was not a city yet, it was a town. Very small town. Now, before my time is where the witness comes in. The time period, 1948. You heard me correctly, 1948. Something happened in 1948 on this one day that started out like any other day. The weather was good, and it was just a nice day to take a walk. So, the witness that I interviewed at this time, they were 13 years old. Okay? She was with her sister and 3 to 4 other adults. Now, what they were doing is they were hiking along of what we know today in my hometown as Dry Creek. But back in the day, it went by a completely different name. It was not called Dry Creek, it was called Linda Creek. Now I know a lot of people in my hometown probably don't even know this. But nonetheless, that's the truth, that's the facts. It was called Linda Creek. Years later down the road, it was changed to Dry Creek. Now, this creek is also the longest flowing creek in Placer County in most of Northern California. It starts way high up in the Sierra Mountains. And through many of chains of streams and creeks and other rivers, it makes its way all the way down into today called Dry Creek. But at the time it was called Linda Creek. You got the picture? Okay. Now, in my time, because of the fact we weren't no city, there wasn't hardly any people around, and it was a very small town, so we had a lot of open area. We had natural ponds, even some that looked like small lakes, all kinds of creeks, streams, just a lot of open country. Now, I could picture how it was in 1948. So, this young gal at 13 years old with her sister and 3 to 4 adults were just walking along the creek. And then all of a sudden, they stopped. All of them were staring in total amazement. They also froze in their tracks. Why? Because of what they were witnessing. What were they witnessing? What they were witnessing was 4 cryptid creatures, all by the creek bank, all in a squatting position, as if they were consuming edibles and also as if they were drinking water from the creek. As they were all watching this in total amazement, and I was told everybody was just totally speechless, it was like they just froze. And as they were observing these 4 cryptid creatures, one of them turned around and started observing them. Then one stood up, turned around, and faced them. And he was totally upright. What she told me was that this large one was between 7 and 8 feet in height. Very large, very massive, and all covered in hair. The other 3 were much smaller, and they were all covered in hair. The 3 small ones went upright, turned around, and now they're all basically observing each other. She said they were all covered in hair, long hair. Some of the large one, she said the face was not too much covered in hair. Almost looked human. At first, she thought it was just a big hairy man. They had never seen anything like this in their life. You have to understand how they must have felt. Then at that point in time, the large one turned around and started walking off, following the creek bed. The other 3 followed in suit. They disappeared. In other words, they just evaded, gone. Now, why was that story not reported to the local police? Why wasn't the story reported anywhere? Maybe to a local newspaper? And a very good reason. You see, that was in 1948. In 1947, you have Roswell, UFO crashes. The whole nation, they're focused on that. 1948, more UFO crashes. So the country is still focused on UFOs, not on any kind of humanoid or cryptid type creatures. Also, you have to understand that time period, if they would have told their story, reported it, they probably would have been mockery of the town. You see, back in that time period, people would have thought you were crazy, fruitcake. So it made sense to me why nobody said nothing. 70 years go by. Now, you got their story. And I documented this story. It's in my personal files. Now, what is the good significance of this? Take it 19 years later up the road, 1967, Patterson film. Had been under scrutiny for years and years and years, has been debated on for years and years and years. Now I'm going to tell you myself, all the years I've been doing this, I have been closer, I've had more interactions. I know exactly what these guys look like more than anybody does in the business, period. The Patterson film, I studied that for a long time. I must have studied it 1,000 times. I'm telling you, for me, and I've said it before, and I'll put my reputation back on the line again, and I'll say it again, and I stand my ground on it. The Patterson film is real. Patty is real. I know she is, because I know how they walk. I know what they look like. I have seen a female one time, and yes, she had breasts, just like Patty. Now, here's the clincher. If in fact these 5 individuals witnessed these humanoid cryptid creatures 19 years before the Patterson film, how can you say that the Patterson film was not real? I believe if these eyewitnesses were alive today and saw the Patterson film, I think they'd say that's it. Now, here's a shout out to Dr. Jeff Meldrum, which I do know. I know what his beliefs are on the Patterson film, and I'm going to tell you, I agree with Jeff 100%. The Patterson film is real. Patty is real. Period. No more debating on it, man. Leave it alone. It's real. Accept it. So, now, before I let you go, something happened to me this past Friday. And this past Friday at 2 a.m. in the morning, I was up that night, because I'm up at most nights, because I do my research all around the clock. And usually at night times when I'm really looking for UFOs, stuff like that, because on account of where I'm at, I'm not too far from Mount Lassen. And so anyway, I was awake. I went wandering around to my back door. And on my back door, see, I got a glass window like this. And I'm looking out there, and I see the strangest eye shine I've never seen before. And I have seen every types of eye shine in the Sierra Mountains. I could not match it to anything that I knew of. Nothing. As I was staring at this entity, it was staring right at me. Now here's the weird thing. It had the silhouette that looked humanoid. It was about 5'3", 5'4". And it had these eyes that glowed a very bright yellow glowing color. I have never seen anything like that before, and I mean a bright yellow. And not only that, the eyes weren't offset. The eyes were set close together. I've never seen anything like it. I wonder, just wonder, because I know for a fact that they do have a subterranean ET race called the reptilians that reside right up here in Mount Lassen. As a matter of fact, about a month ago, I saw a documentary on it, Mount Lassen and the reptilians. It was a hell of a good documentary. If you ever get a chance to see it, see it. That is the only thing I could even think of what it could be, what I saw this past Friday. I haven't seen it since. Anyway, I hope you guys like this story. I hope you like the video. Oh, and by the way, before I let you go, just to finish it off on the story I told you, I know exactly how those hybrid hominins, because that's what they were, alias Sasquatch, came down from the high parts of the Sierra Mountains all the way down into Placer County, because I know the path and the trail they took. And all the way down from the mountains, all the way down to the valley, they could cruise it all the way down there and never, ever, ever be seen. They can have total evasion, period. And that's what they were doing. Anyway, hope you like this. Let you guys catch you later. Gotta go. Bye.